Hello everybody, my name is Hummingbird and welcome to my channel. I'd like to just go over a few things quickly before we get into the video. There are 3 segments that I now have planned out for my channel. All will be placed in a playlist for you as I upload more. The first segment I'd like to announce is what today's video falls under, Hummingbird Draws Wicca. As a Wiccan, my purpose and intent with this series is to educate viewers on the practice while working on a piece to go with it. And I'll get to more on that in just a moment. The second segment I'd like to announce is Hummingbird Draws Story Sharing, a segment in which I will be telling a personal experience, both spooky and funny, while illustrating a piece for it. And finally, for now, the third segment I will be uploading and placing on a playlist as I go along is Hummingbird Draws Wreck This Journal by Kerry Smith. I don't have a concrete uploading schedule, but expect these main 3 segments to be on my channel for now as I'm working on slowly developing where I'm going. Now, into the video. For my first Wiccan education video, I've decided to study up on Beltane. When people speak to me, it's pronounced Beltane. I've heard it also pronounced in other ways. So if you have heard another way or you prefer to say it another way, please let me know down in the comments. I like to know everybody's perspective, especially because Wicca is such a pave your own path practice. It's always very interesting to see other people's journeys and how they celebrate. So if you want to share how you celebrated this year, let me know. Different things that you give or take with the holiday. I'd like to understand and expand my knowledge. So Beltane is one of the sabbats or holidays in our Wheel of the Year. So in Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner by Scott Cunningham, he writes, Beltane, April 30th, marks the emergence of the young god into manhood. Stirred by the energies at work in nature, he desires the goddess. They fall in love, lie among the grasses and blossoms, and unite. The goddess becomes pregnant of the god. The Wiccans celebrate the symbol of her fertility in ritual. Beltane, also known as May Day, has long been marked with feasts and rituals. Maypoles, supremely phallic symbols, were the focal point of Old English village rituals. Many persons rose at dawn to gather flowers and green branches from the fields and gardens, using them to decorate the maypole, their homes, and themselves. The flowers and greenery symbolize the goddess, the maypole, and the god. Beltane marks the return of vitality, of passion, and hopes consummated. Maypoles are sometimes used by Wiccans today during Beltane rituals, but the cauldron is a more common focal point of ceremony. It represents, of course, the goddess, the essence of womanhood, the end of all desire, the equal but opposite of the maypole, symbolic of the god. Cunningham later writes in The Seasonal Festivals, page 143, Beltane lore, weaving and plaiting are traditional arts at this time of the year, for the joining together of 2 substances to form a third is in the spirit of Beltane. Foods traditionally come from the dairy, and dishes such as marigold custard and vanilla ice cream are fine. Oatmeal cakes are also appropriate. In other sources online, I've read that Beltane is to also be celebrated anywhere from April 30th to May 5th. I don't want to slam you with another large excerpt of text, so without further ado, let's just get straight into the illustration. Usually I like to use pencils or markers for my pieces, but recently I've been pushing myself to paint. Since painting, I've found a new, almost cartoony style to aid me in learning the medium without pushing myself to do anything too detailed or too drastic without understanding the material. Today I used, I believe it's pronounced Himi Gauche. I watched a bunch of reviews on Amazon by a lot of other creators that I really love watching, and I decided to make the purchase and give it a shot. I decided that for every holiday of the Wheel of the Year, I will be drawing a setting, which is something I'm also, again, not good at, that I'm trying to be better at, with a witch or Wiccan and their familiar. A quick side note is that there is a difference between a witch and a Wiccan. You can be a Wiccan, you can be a Wiccan who practices witchcraft, you can be a Wiccan witch, etc. A lot of people just prefer different terms. It's really just all a matter of what you want to identify as and what you feel comfortable with based off of your beliefs and your practices within your journey. I just personally prefer either Wiccan or Wiccan Witch, but truly it doesn't matter to me. I'm comfortable with whichever. So back to the painting. I chose some gentle tones for the kitchen so that I didn't overwhelm myself in the process of painting. I've proven to be very impatient when it comes to paint, and that's why I usually choose pencils or marker, because it's done, dry, I can move on to the next. I put small pops of color here and there to represent some fertility, new life, and rebirth. Our little Wiccan here is adorned with the god's horns and peonies, as well as wearing a sunflower dress. Her brightly colored fox, who I decided to name Venus, is curled up and resting while she is cleaning. Some candles are lit, fresh bread is on the counter, and the kettle in the back is getting warmed for some tea, and perhaps a soup or stew is brewing in the cauldron in the back. The video does skip around a bit. I did cut out chunks where I either took too long on one part of the piece or got distracted talking, since I usually either video chat one of my friends or I listen to other art channels or commentary channels on YouTube while I do draw. So I did cut out those little chunks here and there where I just kind of phased out. So if there are jumps here and there, that's why. I kept myself poorly peeling the tape off at the end of the video, just because I like seeing when artists paint with either gouache or watercolor or whatever it is, and they peel the nice paint at the end, and I get to see those nice crisp lines. And although the paper tore a little bit at the end, I still got some really good lines, so I did keep it in just because I know there is an audience for it. I'm part of that little audience, so I kept it in. With that, I think that's about all I have to say for now. I'll be plugging my Instagram down in the description, as well as my Redbubble if you would like to check it out. With that, I guess stay well, stay healthy, and a very happy late Beltane to you all, and blessed be.